Good day po sa lahat, si Fiscal EJ po ito. In this video, let's break down the crime of estafa with abuse of confidence under Article 315, Paragraph 1B of the Revised Penal Code as amended. We'll tackle each of the elements, explain them in plain language, and syempre, I will give you specific examples para hindi kayo malito. Let's go! Element number 1. The first element requires that money, goods, or personal property is received under certain obligations. What are these obligations? The law gives specific examples. They are in trust, on commission, for administration, or under any other obligation involving the duty to make delivery of or to return the same. Let's go through each one with examples. When you say in trust, this happens when someone gives you personal property with the clear understanding that you will keep it safe and return it later. For example, Carlo gives his laptop to Dave for safekeeping while he travels. When Carlo returns, Dave must give it back to Carlo. That's holding the property in trust. Now, what about the obligation which refers to on commission? This refers to personal property or goods given to someone to sell, and he or she earns a percentage for each item sold. For example, Maria gives Anna 10 luxury bags to sell, and Anna earns 10% commission per sale. If she is able to sell the bags, then she must remit the proceeds to Maria. Or if the bags are unsold, they must be returned also to Maria. That's what you call on commission. Now, what about the obligation which refers to for administration? This involves managing property or funds on someone else's behalf. For example, Leo collects monthly rent from tenants as the administrator of his uncle's properties. Leo must account for and turn over the collections to his uncle. That is what you call for administration. Now, Fiscal, what about the phrase under any other obligation involving the duty to make delivery of or to return the same? This is a catch-all provision. It includes other obligations where the duty to return or deliver exists, like for example, in a contract of lease or contract of comodato. Example of lease. Sophia leases a car from a rent-a-car business for 5 days. After 5 days, she must return it. Example of comodatum or loan for use. Miguel borrows a projector from his friend for a school presentation. He must return it after use. Now, even though these are not in trust or on commission or for administration, they still fall under this element because there is a duty to return the items leased or borrowed. So, once the money, property, or goods is received under any of these obligations, trust, commission, administration, lease, or comodatum, the law imposes a duty on the person who received the same. What is that duty? The duty to make delivery of or to return the same. And if that duty is violated, estafa begins to take shape. Let's talk about that in the next element. The second element is misappropriation or conversion, or even simply denying that you ever received the money or property in the first place. These are all ways of violating the obligation to return or deliver the item. Let's break that down. When you say conversion or misappropriation, it means you use or dispose the money or property as if it were your own and for your personal benefit or of devoting it to a purpose or use different from that agreed upon. Ginamit mo yung pera o property na parang sayo ito, para sa sarili mong kapakinabangan o para sa purpose na iba sa napagkasunduan. What about denial of receipt? Denial of receipt, on the other hand, happens when the person who received the property or money now pretends na hindi niya ito natanggap, which is a clear act of bad faith. Let's give examples para mas lalo nyo pong maintindihan. Misappropriation or conversion. This is an example. Anna sells Maria's bags, but instead of remitting the proceeds, she uses the money to go on vacation. That's what you call misappropriation and conversion. She treated the funds as if it were her own. Now, with respect to denial of receipt, this is an example. Maria confronts Anna about the bags and the proceeds. But Anna responds, "Anong bags? Wala kang binigay sa akin." That's estafa through denial of receipt because she's refusing to acknowledge that she received the bags given to her by Maria. So whether you used the property, kept it, or outright denied receiving it, the bottom line is sinira mo ang tiwala. And that becomes estafa with abuse of confidence. Element number 3. The third element is that the misappropriation, conversion, or denial must cause prejudice or damage. For example, because Dave sold the laptop, Carlo has to buy a new one when he returns, spending another 60,000 pesos. Or because Anna did not remit the sales proceeds, Maria loses both her capital and her expected income. The breach of trust here caused financial loss. And finally, the fourth element, demand. Although demand is not always strictly necessary if the misappropriation is obvious, this, however, will prove that the accused indeed misappropriated or converted the money, property, or goods if he fails or refuses to return the same after the demand. For example, Carlo sends Dave a demand letter asking for the return of the laptop, but Dave refuses. Or Maria keeps messaging Anna to remit the proceeds, but Anna does not respond, or worse, she disappears. To summarize what we had discussed, let me again give you a rundown. First, the money, property, or goods is received by the offender under trust, commission, administration, lease, comodatum, or other similar obligations. Second, the money, property, or goods is misappropriated, converted, or the receipt thereof is denied by the offender. Third, the offended party suffers damage or prejudice. And fourth, there is a demand to return the said money, property, or goods. Kaya sa batas po, ang tiwala ay hindi basta ibinibigay. And once you abuse it, you may be liable for estafa. So yan lang po ang munting lesson natin for today, and see you in my next video. Maraming salamat po.